outside is so hot, but I'm getting goosebumps. I'm sitting next to a giant in the Africa Tech game. I'm sitting next to a giant in the education field. A multifaceted queen is in the studio with us today.
Wow.
Tshamaano,
Oh, wow.
how are you?
I am good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Who are
That
you?
intro is so sweet.
What
Wow.
can I say?
What can you say?
What can I say?
Okay.
It's the way you act. Tell the people, who are you?
Oh, again.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Tshamaano Mabuba, as he's mentioned. I'm in the EdTech space. I run Buddy Learning, which is a very awesome EdTech. We're pioneering a chatbot that actually tutors in South African languages, so that's what's exciting. What else do we do? I present at Super Sport, I'm studying data science. Yeah, that's me.
So we're gonna get into all of that because I feel like you're robbing us. You're not giving us the meat, the bones, the details.
Yeah.
But before that, we need to loosen the bones. So we're gonna do a quiz.
Okay, great.
You're a presenter, so you know about sports.
Yeah.
Because you're even doing super sport.
Yeah.
Okay. Already.
Yeah, it depends which sport.
And I'm
but
doing a throwback quiz. I'm
Okay.
not doing a quiz.
Yo, I'll do my best. Yeah.
Okay. So this is as of 2023.
Okay.
South Africa won the Rugby World Cup at the weekend. How many of their players were in the World Rugby's Team of the Year
Oh.
that week?
So team of the year. Oh, that's hectic. There's so many. Can I name? Oh, I thought you were gonna say player of the year. I know that one, but there's so many. Like at least 6 or 4.
Hey!
No,
One. Ibn Etzebeth
Is
was the only.
Oh, last year, not this year's stats. Sorry. Sorry. I'm
Chief.
thinking of this year. I am thinking this year, though. You should check it out. There is a lot, but it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, next question. 1-0.
Oh, wow. It's like a. No, never mind. No.
Okay. South Africa's victory means they have won consecutive Rugby World Cups.
Yes.
Which other country has achieved this feat? Australia, England, New Zealand, or it has never happened before?
Consecutive World Cups. Yo, your questions are so intricate. I feel like it must have happened before, though. Come
Okay.
on. Maybe New Zealand?
Lucky guess.
Yay. Okay.
All right. Last question.
Great.
Football question.
Oh, not great.
Lord Nelson, the Duke of Wellington, Florence Nightingale, Winston Churchill,
You just hate me with these questions.
Jimmy Choo, Annie Lennox, Stephen Hawking have all been given the freedom of the city of London.
Okay.
Which footballer joined their ranks this week? Harry Kane, Ian Wright, David Beckham, or Bobby Charlton?
The only footballers I know from that list is Harry Kane and David Beckham. And if you're talking about London, maybe Harry Kane.
Ian Wright.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
You have successfully lost the game. Well done.
I have to lose somewhere.
Oh,
You know, I'm joking.
Oh.
I'm joking.
that's what I want us to do. I want us to speak about the wins, right? I want you to take us to the beginning. When do you start your first venture?
Yo, like
Doesn't matter how big.
informal. Oh, jeez. Even back to primary, but like properly, I would say high school. So I used to stay in boarding school, and we used to eat dinner at 6.
Okay.
So obviously by like 7, 8, everyone used to get hungry. So
Big bag.
big bag, big. Yeah, but me and my friend were like, nah, bro, we're gonna capitalize on people's hunger. Start selling snacks from the rooms. It was not allowed, but that's how we made like. Okay, for us it was money. For us, for like grade 10, whatever. Yeah, and then COVID happened. I was like, nah, masks. Let's capitalize.
Really?
Came in selling the masks,
Yeah.
like whatever design. Yeah, that was like the small ones. I always used to sell something at some point. Always.
Yeah.
Either my services or, oh my goodness, when we were like 8 years old, I think, my sister and I, one December, like, now we need more money. Let's wash carpets. We used to imagine, right?
Wash carpets is crazy.
We used to scrub those carpets, and so many, some not dodgy because once we're like, no, we need to make money. My friend's father used to travel a lot, so he used to collect things at hotels like the soaps.
Oh my
This is an embarrassing
gosh.
one. Like
Yeah.
the soaps and stuff. Not us going around selling those sample products. And we
That's
sold them
crazy.
to
That's
people
crazy.
crossing, like walking through in the road. They were like, hello, we're selling soap, and they'd buy it. It was funny, but yeah.
Scam artist.
Yeah.
You're a scammer.
I'm not anymore, but yeah.
So what are you now? What is buddy learning and when does it start?
So buddy learning starts in during like COVID. So I went to JP High School for Girls, which
Okay.
during COVID we were like not functioning as per normal, but like we were working hard. Like we used to have online classes, we're using Google Classroom, whatever. But then my cousins in Venda, like one day I was chatting to him and he's like, he hasn't worked in months. I was like, how is that possible? Because I've never worked hard in my life
Yeah,
under
yeah,
lockdown.
yeah.
Yeah, and I realized, oh my goodness, that's the first time I'm like, there's a actually big gap in it, the education inequality, like in South Africa. I started teaching him, and I'm like, this is actually crazy. How do I have so much work to do and you chilling at home?
Yeah.
And then and my principal at the time was always like, if we're working at home, everyone must have a buddy. And yeah, that's where the buddy concept came from. It's
Okay.
like, actually, you achieve so much more if you have a buddy while learning. Long story short, buddy learning came about because I'm like, okay, number one, we're young and broke. I think I was like chilling with 50 rand and I was like, what do I do to make money?
Yeah.
And I realized, oh no, I can teach people and get paid for that. Got a few people who were interested. Onboarded them onto like, it wasn't really a business at the time. To me, I just thought, I'm going to use these people, not use them, but we're going to, not use, but we're going to make a team where we're going to sell our skills and get paid for it under buddy learning.
Yeah.
And took that 50 rand, paid for meter advertising, and the rest is history. We have a website now. We've got a tutoring center now. I mean, we in-house tutors at high schools now. So went from like, that was last year, Feb, went from like having a team of 15 to over 70 now. Like, it's crazy. 2 countries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which countries are you guys based in
Botswana,
right now?
South Africa.
Okay. So how did you scale and manage to branch out into another country?
So, youth unemployment is such a problem.
Okay.
When I had opened, like, the demand in people wanting tutoring and was high, and we didn't have enough tutors. So I'm like, no, let me open up these applications again. And I'd received like in 2 days over like 1,000, and many were from Botswana, and that's how I kind of went into Botswana because I saw, there's also a demand, there's a market there.
Yeah. And then what is the target market then for buddy learning? Like, from which ages do you guys tutor? What exactly do you tutor?
Yeah.
Like, what does that look like?
So we tutor from like grade 1. Last year we were tutoring grade 1 to grade 12. Now we actually do university modules. So if you check on Varsity Vibe, the app, we are there because we also tutor university students. Cool thing about buddy learning is, remember, it was like to alleviate youth unemployment. So whatever you're really skilled at, like we have people who they're really skilled at teaching art, like they can do art. So if they can teach it, like, and they have to prove it through our onboarding process, they sell like their art teaching skills, piano lessons. Like if you want to learn Tswana and you don't know where to learn, you can go to buddy learning and learn it regardless of your age. So that's the thing. We teach all like high school subjects, all primary subjects, but additional to that is all these skills that the youth want to sell that
And then how did you make this a business, right? Because you're saying you have so many tutors, you're saying you have like this massive amount of infrastructure.
Yeah.
But how did you manage that as an individual, or did you build a team? What did that process look like?
So I've always been like in leadership during high school. So for me, when it started, I didn't even like, I'll sound stupid, but I didn't even realize it was a business until my ELO, which is like your entrepreneurship leadership office at Ellen Gray. She was like, why are you doing this random thing as your venture? Because I think I was trying to push some tuck shop. She's like, when you're running your buddy learning, I'm like, no, buddy learning is something like,
I'm just playing.
I just put a team together so we can make money. And she's like, that's a business. I'm like, like that. Like that's and that's how it started. And because it never felt like a business to me, I just felt like I was pushing this like initiative, because also a big thing about us was giving back to the community. Always, like in every aspect of buddy learning, somehow someone like a student benefits. So it just ran itself because of the business model, and I just found myself managing 70 tutors one day, and I'm like, yo, oh, this is really big. Like, we're making income, we've got expenses, and I don't know. I can't really say it was something like I planned, and that's when I had to look at it. I'm like, I even had a business model without even thinking of one. It was just, not just happened, but you know, when you have a purpose and you're trying to fulfill it, I'm like, I need to close the gap in inequality, the inequality gap in education. And I know I'm going to do it because when we get the profits, we're going to tutor students for free. That's what we do. So I started straight ahead with vendor students. As soon as we got our first profit, I'm like, my guys, call your friends. I've got tutors for you for free. And that's how, I don't know, it just happened because I was so focused on the goal.
So I want to then understand, right? If your buddy learning, its intention is to uplift, right? So both in terms of youth unemployment, but also in terms of education inequality. But the vast majority of South Africa, specifically technologically, is behind, especially when you're talking about the areas that are most in need of that particular service. So how do you then bridge both the technological gap, because it's tech-based and it's an app or an app or website, So how do people then access it in those areas where they need it most?
Exactly. That was our biggest challenge, is like the most students that were able to help were those who had access to some form of technology like a phone. So that's why we are pioneering Buddy AI, which will be accessible on WhatsApp. In every community, you can't tell me in this day and age, not one member there has to be one member that has WhatsApp, number one. That's why we built it on WhatsApp, is because we know it's going to make it very accessible. And basically, it's also like there's a free model of it. And what that does is it will bring high quality education to underserved areas, because the bot itself can explain really complex like NSC and IEB content, but in the home language of choice. So when we pioneered it, like I always started Venda because that's my home language. And like once we got it to work, it was so exciting, because I'm like, you ask in Venda, please explain electrolysis, and it responds in Venda, right? Which is awesome, because imagine a child sitting in a rural community, but they know they have an aunt who's got WhatsApp and they're really struggling with this concept. Say there's lockdown again. You can ask in your home language questions to this bot, and it will be able to quite detailed explain in very like user-friendly ways, not just like paragraphs and stuff. So that's what Buddy AI is going to do, is cater to that underserved class.
So obviously this is a lot that's being done, right? And it's great work, but it's not work that I can assume someone can do alone and without partners.
Okay.
So how do you then get partnerships? And I'm not talking within the company. I'm talking other companies. I'm talking collaborations. How do you then get those, and what type of collaborations exist at the moment?
Okay, so the collaborations that exist. We have collaborations with the Department of Basic Education in Eastern Cape. They helped us with the research we had to do. Obviously, we can't make a bot and not understand the market we're creating this for. So there was that, and I don't know, here's the odd part of me. Most of the stuff I've been really pushing like one man. So even when it came to, not one man, I was using my team in-house. When it came to like pioneering the bot, instead of outsourcing like an established companies, because there are many AI inclined companies that could have helped. I looked at the students, the tutors we have that are studying towards machine learning. Like, this is your first job. Here's your first gig. Help us create the bot. And that again, like, speaks to buddy learning. That's what we're trying to do, alleviate youth unemployment. So I don't have many partners. My partners are my tutors. Like everything, if I need marketing, I'm not going to look outside. I'm going to find that tutor that's studying marketing and we use them.
So I am unfortunately a sucker for business, and as an extension, a sucker for numbers. So it's been a year and a bit, right? So
a year and 8 months.
A year and a bit. So what did the first year look like in terms of margin and turnover, and what is the second year looking like?
Okay. So from the first year, I'd say, okay, mind you, we started with 50 Rand. So for me, like, it felt like an achievement. From the first year, we generated well over 150,000 rand, but the actual like profit was like 53,000 rand, which 50 rand to 53,000 rand, I
It's a
was
lot.
impressed.
Yeah.
Also, it becomes 53K because most of the money that came in goes out because I was paying the tutors. And when I started, I was like all for just students and not really looking at the profit side of the business. So they were getting like majority of everything. Like, and then on top of that, the profit I use it, I go pay them for the free tutoring they're doing for these other students. So yeah, second year, like we've well over doubled it. Like I think this year alone, well over 200,000. Yeah, well over 200,000 rand
What
because
does that look like? 500K?
I
Well
can't
over
give you
500.
specifics. That's
Yeah,
for investors, but just know, like, we had investment and we like more than double, tripled the investments we've been given. Yeah. So this, yeah, which is for me, I'm impressed. But changing the business model into 2024 because once again, I've been saying this was a business model that was. It's not a for-profit business model. I knew that. It was actually very much NGO vibes. But yeah, next year, yeah, I think it'll look up way like looking for like six zeros. What is it? Six figure? Seven figure? Yes. We've hit six figures. Seven figure. Yeah. Those are the prospects.
So what would you say are the big lessons that you've taken? Because you've gone in the space of a year and a bit, right?
Yeah.
From like the startup phase to scaling
Yeah.
to now looking into the growth phase.
Yeah.
What are the biggest lessons that have allowed you to achieve that?
I think number one is to try not do everything by yourself. So that's why I said next year we're really looking at for profit is because I'm building like a team to have a marketing specialist and like a tech specialist. And up to date, I was doing like most of the marketing and like make the logo, design the website, like everything. And those are not my niche, but I was doing it because I don't know why I took on such a big load, and I think it really limited our ability to scale. It's because how can one person manage 70 people? At some point, I had other people helping me, but that is definitely don't try to do everything yourself. And the second one is you need to start your business with whatever you've got. Had I waited, because every time I imagined buddy learning, I was like, it has to be a website. I couldn't pay for a website at that point. So I'm like, but what can I pay for? A free Instagram account. If I've got an Instagram account, I mean, you can promote your business. Like, they've really advanced the features. Like, you can even sell stuff on Instagram. So whatever business you want to start, you shouldn't think like far, like, oh, it's an app. I can't build an app right now. Use what you have access to. Eventually you get there. So yeah, that's what I wish I'd done better, I guess.
Yeah. And what is the biggest lesson you've had to learn? So outside of those, right?
Yeah.
You've grown. But what's the biggest L, basically, that
My
you've
biggest
taken
L?
in this journey?
I think it would be, not trusting people, but it's like you need to be very careful who you work with or like affiliate the brand with because our onboarding process has had to change so drastically because sometimes we onboard tutors who, I mean, I'm not doing you a favor, but this business was built for young people, and then they just come and like shock you. I don't really want to be very exposing, but they come and do you dirty, and I don't know. I didn't handle it well. I guess I was very emotional about it, but maybe like my biggest L is not having the greatest onboarding process in the start. Yeah. Yeah.
And how did you then learn from it?
Oh, now our onboarding process, like you need to go get your fingerprints done and be like vetted. Like it's way more, not strict, but way more intense than what it was initially. Like, yeah, that's how I changed it up is the stages are even more, everything is definitely also for the benefit of the students. Cause I realized, oh my goodness, if this is the kind of person I was like letting have access to students, that's a bit scary. So yeah, that's why, concerning behaviors, but yeah.
Yeah. So what does the future look like for buddy learning in the next 2-3 years?
So, okay, our business model is changing. So we rather going to be a platform where young people can onboard themselves and, still market their skills, but kind of taking away the admin on our side for like even okay, how do I put this? It's going to be more user friendly so parents can also onboard. Like if they want to find sessions for their child, they can have their own accounts, even corporate, because we do like in-house tutoring at business for many schools. So I think we're expanding that scale. Buddy AI, of course, that's like our biggest focus right now because I think that's going to be crazy
Yeah,
once
for
we
sure,
launch
for
it.
sure.
We also have Buddy and Friends, which was my little brother once was like to me, you always doing these stuff for like high school and stuff. What about us,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
young kids? So we also, well, we kind of launched it, but not entirely. If you're at Africa Tech, it was launched there, but we launched a monthly educational magazine, so Buddy and Friends, which is a very cool one because um, the essays, whatever we write, is in bionic reading, which most people don't know what it is, but it's like for people with ADHD, it
Okay.
helps you read. If you've got ADHD and you're reading, it's like it's a challenge, but the way that the font is created, like you read more, like it enhances how you are reading, basic long story. But like we have catered those magazines, they're bilingual, they cater to just a large group of young people. So, and also teaching real stories that I don't think I was ever taught about, like the depth of where religion goes when we were younger, and also like spectrum. The first time I heard about ADHD and autism and everything was like so late. So that's also what the magazine Buddy and Friends will teach to young kids. Yeah.
So let's say I don't want to be a tutor, but I
Yeah.
really do want to get involved in buddy learning.
Yeah.
What can I do? Or how can I be involved?
I believe that everyone has a skill they're really good at. See, so you are really good at speaking, I guess. You can teach people how to speak. The premise of buddy learning is you have to be sharing your knowledge in something. Like, and there is no, I don't believe there's anyone on this earth that has not a single skill that they can teach to someone else. So yeah, you will do whatever you are skilled in and market that skill.
So if I were to augment the question slightly, right?
Okay.
And say I want to not be involved on
On
the
the, okay.
teaching level.
Okay.
But let's say the back end.
Oh, yeah.
How does one get involved there? Is there potential and space for
Oh, there
investment?
is.
And what does that look like, that process?
So on our website, we have a careers portal. So if there's ever careers that interest the person, they should definitely apply. As long as they're part of the youth. I'm very strict on that one because, wow, there are so many jobs for old people, but not us. So yeah, they should apply on the portal. I mean, with the Buddy AI, we're gonna need a team of like tech support and etc. So the jobs are like opening up. Yeah.
And then investors? What does that look like?
What do you mean?
Is there space for investment?
Always. Oh, it's always welcome. What do you mean? Of course.
And how do we reach you then?
You email us, of course. You can, like, you can email me, Tshamaano at buddylearning.coza, or admin at buddylearning.coza, info at buddylearning.coza, pick up buddylearning.coza and email us. Yeah.
Leave us with your parting words, your words of inspiration. What do you want someone who wants to touch the tech space to know?
I think there's no recipe for success.
Wow.
Sorry. Okay. Contrary to the podcast, I don't think there's a recipe for success. I think everyone's recipe is very different. But if we had to have a recipe for success, a common ingredient would be hardship. Like, we don't talk enough about how hard it is to do anything in this life. So if you're going to experience lots of challenges and hardships, like, it is part of this recipe to success. So that's what I would tell people. Don't give up. If you experience hardship, it's part of the process. Yeah.
Business word of the day.
Business word of the day.
Yeah. Or phrase.
Business phrase of the day is that don't let people tell you that an industry is like oversaturated or whatever, because if it's meant for you, it will be like you will fit in. I know when I started Buddy Learning, many people were like, oh, another tutoring company. And it is not another tutoring company. Clearly, we've taken existing tutoring companies, like taken their customers, I'm sorry to say, because of how different and our approach. So don't let anyone tell you anything's oversaturated. Make that clothing brand, make whatever it is. If it's for you, you will definitely succeed.
You heard it here first. Chefs at home. That was the recipe for success, for succeeding in tech. Dango.